The fluorescent lights hummed above me as I lay on the examination table, my paper gown crinkling with every nervous breath. Dr. Martinez had been my gynecologist for 5 years, and I'd never seen her face look quite like this. Pale, tense, her usual warm smile replaced by a thin, worried line. "Sarah," she said, pulling her stool closer. "We have to act now." My heart dropped into my stomach. "What? What do you mean?" She squeezed my hand, her eyes meeting mine with an intensity that made my pulse race. "The test came back. You have severe scarring in your fallopian tubes. If we don't operate within the next 2 weeks, you may never be able to conceive naturally." The room tilted. Mark and I had been trying for a baby for 18 months. 18 months of negative pregnancy tests, of hope building and crashing, of whispered conversations in the dark about our future family. But how? Why? I stammered. Dr. Martinez pulled up my chart on her tablet. "The scarring is consistent with an untreated infection, likely from years ago. Sarah, have you ever had pelvic inflammatory disease?" "No, I've never had anything like that. I would remember." "Not necessarily," she interrupted gently. "Sometimes these infections can be asymptomatic, especially if—" She paused, choosing her words carefully. "Especially if they were sexually transmitted and left untreated." My blood ran cold. That's impossible. Mark and I, we were both tested before we got married. We were each other's firsts. We've been together since college. Dr. Martinez's expression shifted, a flicker of something, pity, perhaps, crossing her features. "Sarah, the bacterial markers suggest this infection occurred approximately 5 to 7 years ago." 5 to 7 years ago. We've been married for 6 years. "There must be a mistake," I whispered, but my voice sounded hollow even to my own ears. She handed me a tissue I didn't realize I needed. "I'm ordering the surgery for next Friday. But Sarah, you need to have a conversation with Mark. And you both need to get tested again. There are certain strains that can lie dormant." I drove home in a daze, her words echoing in my head like a cruel mantra. The city blurred past my windows, familiar streets suddenly foreign. The whole world shifted slightly off its axis. Mark's car was in the driveway when I pulled up. He wasn't supposed to be home for another 3 hours. I found him in his office, hunched over his laptop, and my stomach clenched when he quickly minimized a window as I entered. "Hey, Han, didn't expect you back so soon. How was the appointment?" His smile was broad, easy, the same smile that made me fall in love with him in that undergraduate biology class 9 years ago. "We need to talk," I said, and watched that smile falter. He stood up, concern flooding his face. "What's wrong? Is everything okay?" I told him. Watching his face was like watching a storm roll in, confusion, then shock, then something else. Something that looked almost like guilt before he covered it with indignation. "That's insane," he said, his voice rising. "Are you accusing me of something?" "Sarah, I've been faithful to you since the day we met. How dare you even suggest?" "I'm not suggesting anything." I shot back. "I'm telling you what the doctor told me. There's scarring from an infection that happened while we were married, Mark. An infection that usually comes from—" "I know what it comes from," he snapped. "And I'm telling you it didn't come from me." The silence stretched between us like a chasm. "Then where did it come from?" I asked quietly. He ran his hands through his hair, a gesture I'd seen 1,000 times when he was stressed. Maybe the test was wrong. Maybe you had something before we met that didn't show up until now. You know that's not possible. We were tested. We were careful." "Then I don't know," he exploded, and I flinched. Mark never yelled. "But I do know that I haven't cheated on you, Sarah. I love you. I've only ever loved you." I wanted to believe him. God, how I wanted to believe him. But there was something in his eyes, a shadow of something unsaid, and I felt my world crumbling around me. That night, I slept in the guest room. Or rather, I lay awake in the guest room, staring at the ceiling and replaying every moment of the last 6 years, searching for clues I might have missed. The late nights at the office during his promotion year, the business trip to Seattle where he'd barely called, the password he'd changed on his phone last spring, claiming it was for security after a data breach at work. At 3 a.m., I heard him in the hallway outside my door. His shadow paused on a crack of light, and I held my breath, waiting to see if he'd knock. But after a long moment, his footsteps retreated. The next morning, I found him at the kitchen table, looking like he hadn't slept either. There was a piece of paper in front of him, covered in his handwriting. "I made a list," he said without looking up. "Everyone I've been in close contact with over the past 7 years. Colleagues, friends, that yoga class I took briefly. If there's any possibility of transmission through shared towels or equipment or anything, we'll track it down." It was such a Mark thing to do. Make a list, find a solution, approach it like a problem to be solved. And despite everything, my heart ached for him, for us, for the innocent certainty we'd lost in one doctor's appointment. But as I looked at that list, at his bent head and tired eyes, I noticed something. His hand was shaking. "Mark," I said softly, "is there something you need to tell me?" His pen stilled. For a long moment, he didn't move, didn't breathe. Then his shoulders began to shake, and I realized he was crying. "It was one time," he whispered. "One time, Sarah, at the conference in Seattle, 3 years ago. I was drunk and I don't even remember her name. I swear to God, I don't even remember her name." The kitchen floor seemed to drop away beneath me. 3 years ago. Our 3rd anniversary had been that month. I'd planned a special dinner, waited up for him to call from his hotel like he promised. He called at midnight, apologizing, saying the dinner had run late. "You bastard." I breathed. "I'm sorry." He was sobbing now, his face in his hands. "I'm so sorry. It didn't mean anything. It was stupid, and I was drunk, and I've regretted it every single day since. I love you, Sarah. I love you so much." "You love me?" I laughed, a brittle, broken sound. "You love me so much that you cheated on me and then lied about it for 3 years? So much that you let me think I was crazy or defective when we couldn't get pregnant. So much that you gave me an infection that's destroying my chances of ever having a baby? I didn't know. You didn't want to know." I screamed, and the release of that rage felt like breaking bones, like shattering glass. "You chose not to know. You chose to hide it and hope it would all just go away." He reached for me, and I backed away so fast I hit the counter. "Don't touch me. Don't you dare touch me. Sarah, please. Get out. This is my house, too. Get out." He left. I heard the front door close, heard his car start and pull away, and then I slid down the kitchen cabinets to the floor and cried until I had nothing left. Dr. Martinez performed the surgery the following Friday. They cleared the scarring, and she said my chances were good now. Not perfect, but good. When I woke up in recovery, asking groggily if Mark was there, the nurse squeezed my hand and said no, but my sister had arrived and was waiting. Divorce papers came 6 months later. Mark signed without contest, even gave me the house. It felt like blood money, like he was paying for his guilt in real estate and retirement funds. 2 years later, I met David at a medical conference where I was presenting research on early detection of reproductive health issues. He was funny and kind and patient with my baggage. When I told him my story, he held me and said, "Thank you for trusting me with that." We took things slow. We got tested together, openly, making it just another part of knowing each other. And when I got pregnant 18 months into our relationship, I sobbed in that bathroom for 20 minutes straight. But this time, they were tears of joy. The baby girl I held in my arms 9 months later felt like a miracle, like proof that endings can birth beginnings, that broken things can heal into new shapes. I named her Hope, because sometimes when someone says we have to act now, they're not just talking about surgery or medical emergencies. Sometimes they're talking about your whole life, about the person you thought you were and the future you thought you'd have. And when those moments come, you do have to act. Even when acting means burning down your whole world to build something true from the ashes.